Not gonna laugh. Not gonna laugh. Oh, this movie's fucking terrible. It's really bad. It's really fucking bad. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. We're good. I am totally capable of doing this review with a straight face, I promise. Or at least I'm sure she's gonna try. Boar is a 2018 Australian horror film written and directed by Christie-Lee. In the harsh yet beautiful Australian outback, we'll explain that later, lives a beast, an animal of staggering size, with a ruthless driving need for blood and destruction. It cares for none, defends its territory with brutal force, and kills with a raw animalistic savagery unlike any have seen before. It is time to let out my true-blooded Aussie wrath, which means there will be an excessive amount of cursing in this review. So if cursing offends your moral compass or sensibilities, I'd stop watching this review right now. Though if I'm fair, this is less a review and more a flat-out brutal rant on just how much I hate this movie. That's right, I fucking hated this movie. It is without any doubt in my mind whatsoever one of the worst movies I have ever seen in my life, and most certainly the worst movie of 2018. While 2018 isn't yet over, it doesn't matter what terrible movies are still to come. Boar will remain worse than them all. If you follow my reviews or my YouTube channel, then you would know I have many issues with Australian movies. Most of what has come out of my country over the last 15 or so years have been films I have ended up hating with a passion, either for being stupid or just offending me as an Australian. Most of what I love about Australian cinema is more on the classic side: Muriel's Wedding, Strictly Ballroom, The Adventures of Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Wolf Creek, and others. But Boar stands out as a prime example of everything I hate about Australian cinema. Let's start with the utterly atrocious characters written into this movie. Now, while I can testify that yes, we Aussies love to swear, as you can tell from watching this, and use curse words more often than we take breaths, not all of us use a curse word as the second word in every sentence that passes our lips. I've passed through plenty of rural towns full of lovely, polite people who did not have a curse word to say. While plenty of towns are like this the further towards the centre of Australia you go, most are still decent people with manners. But once again, my country has produced another movie where its characters use the word fuck to replace commas and full stops in their speeches. Thank you for continuing to perpetuate the stereotypes of our country. Almost every character in this movie is written to be an unlikable fucktard, and I do not say that with respect. While some characters such as Bernie, played by Nathan Jones, Sasha, played by Melissa Couts, and Ernie, played by Ernie Dingo, I will give passes to only because their characters were decent human beings. Everyone else are characters that can go and get gobbled up by 50 giant boars for all I fucking care. That's how unlikable they were. I don't think I have ever seen such an extensive array of characters who are all written to be a pack of dickheads. The worst of the bunch goes to Robert, played by Hugh Sheridan, and Ella, played by Christie-Lee Britton. What a disgusting and annoying couple. A set of people who think it's both sensible and appropriate to be talking about performing blowjobs and cunnilingus on each other around her mother. Talking about sex and sexual acts in the most perverted way around one's parents or the parents of one's girlfriend is usually frowned upon in polite society. But no, these parents find it acceptable and amusing. Robert, of course, proves to be the giant turd I knew he was and meets his demise, though not soon enough for my liking. While some male extras are written as sensible human beings who do not objectify members of the opposite sex, this film was still sure to throw in a couple, because what's a horror movie without some chauvinistic pigs? Cause the giant killer pig apparently wasn't enough. On the flip side, we have equally disgusting female characters, so yay? I don't recall the last time I came across dialogue so horrendous I wanted to cut off my ears. With conversations like, fuck mate, we gotta fucking hurry up before that fucking thing comes back. Now get off your fucking fat ass, you dumb piece of shit, and let's fuck off. That's not an actual quote, but it is stylized in the same way as the dialogue in the movie, so you get my point. With script work like that, it's a wonder anyone struggles to have their work submitted. Don't worry, I have more to hate. Do you think I'd label something the worst movie of 2018 and not come loaded with reasons why? I do not go into Kill It With Fire reviews lightly. I come fully loaded. In addition to everything I have mentioned, I can say that I fucking hate how this movie was filmed. In all honesty, I did spend the first half of the movie laughing hysterically for no other reason than I could not believe what I was watching. I knew it was going to be shit, and yet it managed to exceed already extremely shitty expectations. I'm not sure that is humanly possible, but here it is. Every scene in this movie is dragged out to an unnecessary long degree. A scene that should take 30 seconds max takes 1 to 2 minutes. Some scenes hold no purpose for the movie, and then when there are necessary scenes, you're stuck watching them go around in a circle. By that I mean, the scene has served its purpose, and yet we are not moving into the next scene. We are just stuck there, watching nothing be achieved. Safe to say, during the second half of the movie, I was trying to stay awake. The CGI and practical effects was some of the worst I have seen, and I've seen horror movies from the 70s. We have a boar that looks about as real as Donald Trump's skin color, and in scenes where it is attacking doesn't remotely seem to be an actual part of the scene. It is horrifically fake from the jump. It's also the most fucking stupidly written boar ever. This boar is established as being mammoth in size, making a lot of noise, and yet magically appears out of nowhere continuously. These people are oh Lord. These people are standing in open green fields. There is nothing around them, yet they don't see a giant creature until it's right fucking beside them. What did it do? Teleport? Does it have the power of invisibility? Even in one scene, our douchebag Robert is running from it. His girlfriend and her family are watching him in the distance from a vantage point. They are in a vast clearing, nothing but beautiful green grass around them. And yet, no one saw or heard the giant fucking boar charging right at him until it was eating him. Sure, the shot works for the camera, making the audience jump by surprising them with the beast in question, but I'm too focused on logic to let that shit slide. These scenes were written, but they make no sense. During another scene, a woman is attacked and the creature's tusk goes through the back of her neck and her mouth. This is a huge tusk. It then swings her around like a rag doll and starts chomping on her. This all should have killed her. Given the size of the tusk and the angle in which it pierced her head, it should have severed the brainstem, killing her straight away. But no, she lives a few minutes longer to cry and cough up blood for dramatic effect, not even paralyzed. Fuck this shit. As I mentioned, the practical effects were equally bad. Prosthetic wounds look as fake as all get out, our pierced victim looks like someone was copying the Joker's makeup, and the dead bodies in the camping site consist of some of the neatest and cleanest mutilations I've ever seen done to a body. For bodies that should have been ripped to shreds, it was amazing how perfectly neat or symmetrical the wounds on the bodies were. I can't tell if the person in charge of this was either too good at their job or not good enough. You decide. I'm an avid lover of horror movies, but one thing I hate is horror movies with no stories. No character development, no real plot, no plot progression, and certainly no start, middle, or end. Boar is a horror movie that has no character development, no plot progression, and no beginning, middle, or end. There flat out is no real story. The movie begins with a boar killing people, in the middle is a boar still killing people for no reason, and it ends with people thinking the boar is dead but it lives so it can go on killing people. Nothing has changed from the start of the movie to the end. We ended right back where we started. We don't even know anything about this monster. Is it natural? A freak of nature? Bred in a lab? We have no idea. So while it is just a mindless monster, there is no explanation for it. At least ice sharks explain the sharks to me. I loathe this movie. While I may have spent a good 30 minutes laughing at its expense, it was when I realised it still had another hour left to go that I realised this wasn't a laughing matter. This is one of the worst movies I have ever had the displeasure of watching. I know some people were excited for this and some even loved it, and maybe if I could turn off my brain I could love it too, but I can't. I hated it. I hated its characters, I hated how it was filmed, I hated its effects, I hated its monster, and I hate that it is advertised as being about a boar in the outback when that was not the fucking outback, that was the fucking bush. There is a clear difference. I never want to hear about this movie ever again. Well, thank fuck that's over. I now can relax knowing I never have to see this movie again. I never have to talk about this movie again, and I never have to think about this movie again. I can just pretend it didn't exist. At least until the end of the year when I have to do my top 10 worst movies of 2018, but that's it. After that, never again. So, if you have seen or heard of this movie, then please comment down below and let me know, or just share your thoughts on this video. I'd love to hear from you guys. Until next time, bye.